Everyone. Got JC here. She's from the Texas Forest Service. I'm just gonna give her a chance to introduce herself, and I believe Lauren from Texan by Nature is also on the call. So welcome everyone. We're gonna do a quick informational meeting about the Nature Challenge and then hopefully have plenty of time for questions and answers for everyone. But my name is Sarah Coles. I'm the Executive Director of Texas Children in Nature. And this past summer, myself and JC and Texan by Nature started working together on the newest innovation of the Texas Nature Challenge. So I'll give each of them a chance to introduce themselves. JC, if you want to go next.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sarah. My name is JC Tosh. I work for the TexasA&MForestService. I'm their State Conservation Education Coordinator, and I'm also the State Co-Coordinator for Project Learning Tree in Texas. And I have been kind of running the project here at the Forest Service to get Nature Challenge, a program that we previously had that was under some revisions, back up and running for you guys. So this is what the information session is about today. We're hoping to launch very soon, but the survey to propose challenges is active now. I'm going to share my screen as Lauren, if you want to introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Lauren. I'm a programs intern at Texan by Nature. So if you have any questions about how to get involved with Texan by Nature, I would be your point of contact from Texas Children in Nature.
Wonderful. And then JC, if you want to go ahead and start sharing your screen. And we are recording today, so if you have anyone who wasn't able to make it, please let them know. The recording will be available. And then I just saw that Joni from Texan by Nature was able to join us. So if you want to introduce yourself real quick before we get started.
Sure. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm Joni Carswell. I'm with Texan by Nature and really excited about all the interest in Nature Challenge and excited to hear from Sarah and JC. So welcome.
Sarah, can you enable my ability to share really quickly, please?
Of course. I thought I had given you that ability, but apparently I have not. You should have it now.
There we go. Okay. Pull up our presentation here. Are you guys able to see this okay? Awesome. Okay, well, let's get started. Welcome to the new Texas Nature Challenge, affectionately known now as just Nature Challenge. We're going to go through some of the changes that are coming from the previous version, as well as some of the new things that you can expect to see. So the old model that we had was really regionally focused. So there was regional coordinators that kind of managed local efforts and were the ones to judge all of the participants, approve the teams, and then keep track of all those materials and resources. So in this new model, we are no longer relying on this regional breakdown. It's going to be a statewide thing. This map is built in ArcGIS, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. So it really allows us to be a little bit broader and not require so many active hands in regions. The types of challenges are also going to change with this new version. Previously, they were very place-based or linked to some kind of activity packet or something of the sort that had to be judged after participants had participated. Also, there was a time limit, and the new types of challenges that we'll see now are a little bit broader. Lots of different kinds of audiences we can reach, not just families. And they will have the option of running year-round so that we don't have deadlines on challenges unless you wish to do so. Anybody can participate. That's one of the new changes as well. In the old version, teams had to register themselves before they could be active in the challenge. That's no longer a requirement. Anybody anywhere can participate. They can work on their own. They can work in a team. They can work as a class, whatever they decide. So for providers, all of our participants across the state are the people, the public, but the providers are all of our partners, the nature centers, the zoos, the environmental educators, the schools, those kinds of folks. The process of coming up with a challenge from you guys is simply looking at what resources you already have and then getting a little bit creative. It saves you a little bit of time if you want to create challenges based off of things that you already have. This is really just because over the last year or so throughout COVID, we've had to kind of adapt to this new virtual environment and adapt our resources. So we've been doing a lot of work in here already. And now it's just simply turning it into a challenge with a completion metric to be able to put it on the site. The badge completion metrics can be whatever you decide. Typically, it's something along the lines of have the participant complete a worksheet and then they'll upload the completed worksheet. They can submit a photo of them participating in the challenge or of the thing that they've made, or they can submit like a link to a social media post, or we can track with a hashtag. submitting your challenge. Like I said, the challenge proposal survey is up now, live already, and we'll share that link with you guys. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out. There's a variety of different questions. You can choose the type of challenge that you're proposing, as well as the completion metrics, timelines, those sorts of things. And then after you've submitted your challenge, it goes through an approval process where one of the Nature Challenge administrators, which primarily is me right now, will go through and review. If there's any edits that need to be made or additional materials requested, we'll get back with the contact that you guys put into that survey. And then it's just about promotion. So you can promote on your own social media, on your own networks and channels using the hashtag Texas Nature Challenge or hashtag Nature Challenge, as well as any other hashtags you wish to include. And then we'll be keeping track of the analytics as we grow and as we continue to improve the site. It's built in a dynamic system, so if we do need to make changes along the road, we can. So as I said a little bit ago, it is built in the ArcGIS platform. That's one of the biggest updates from the previous Nature Challenge version that we used to have. That was really based in a website, and all of it was kind of hard copy materials. The map component was not an actual map. Now it is. So place-based challenges, as we'll talk about in just a minute, can be found on the ArcGIS map. So they have a specific data point, specific latitude and longitude coordinates that they can link to that, or you can enter an address, and kind of gives us a new state-of-the-art approach to Nature Challenge and improving things in the future with this new development platform. It's also available in a variety of mediums, so you can have your computer access, your tablet and mobile access, or you can access it from a mobile device as well. So how it works, you'll visit the site to find challenges. You can flip through the map, or you can flip through the directories. The map contains the challenges that are place-based, and those directories contain the challenges that are either can be done anywhere based on themes. They are the challenges that are done in a virtual environment online, or things that can be done at home or at school on campus. A participant will select a challenge from one of those options, the map or the directory, click to find more information, download the necessary materials, and then they should have everything they need to complete the challenge. And we'll track with the hashtag Texas Nature Challenge as well as hashtag Nature Challenge. And then the participants can earn digital badges for completing certain challenges. You don't, as a provider, have to offer a badge for every challenge you put on the site, but if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to. It just allows us to keep track of who's participating, what kinds of people are enjoying the challenges, or what sorts of challenges are not getting a lot of traction, as well as zip codes. So we can kind of keep track of where people are coming from that are participating in these. So this is just a quick mock-up of the map. It won't look exactly like this, but this is just to give you guys an idea of what you can expect to see. We'll have data points on the map here. You select a data point, it pulls up a little window with the information you'll need as a participant, including the name of the challenge, the name of the provider, any of the resources that you need to download, as well as a preview of the badge if the badge is available with the challenge. You can also search and filter on the side. So if I'm looking for a specific kind of challenge directed toward a specific audience or a specific ecosystem type, I can search for all of that as well. And I'll let Sarah take this one. This was part of a larger project that kind of spurred the revival of Nature Challenge in the beginning.
Yeah, so this all kind of started with Texan by Nature coming up with the idea for the school social media toolkit. It's for grades K through 12. And so we worked with Texan by Nature to create some social media posts that ISDs could share out with their families on how to spend some time in nature as a family. And through those conversations, just this new version of the Texas Nature Challenge was born. And so we brought JC in on board. And so it's been the three organizations really working closely on this project since about June. And really what we wanted to think about is, you know, this Texas Nature Challenge had a previous life, and how could we make it more accessible to more families and to more kids all throughout the state. And so we really kind of had that in mind as we were going through kind of all of the changes that we've worked on this year.
So in the next rollout that's coming through the summer, we'll have the social media toolkit included on the Nature Challenge site. So that's something you'll be able to access as well. That has the prepackaged information or things that you can pull, little blurbs you can pull for social media to post directly. It should make it as easy as possible to be able to promote and share this with others. So the types of challenges that you can expect to see are those place-based ones. Those are the ones that are going to show up in the map. They have a specific location, an address, or a specific coordinate that you can mark. Those are going to be happening in places like parks, zoos, nature centers, city parks, that kind of thing. And then you have your at-home and virtual challenges, as well as the things you can do at school. We're trying to be as conscious as we can of COVID or other public health restrictions that we may see in the future. So we want this to be as accessible as it can be and be safe for those that do not want to travel or would like to participate in a different way. And then there are the theme challenges, which are designed to be done outdoors, anywhere. So something, for example, a state forest challenge, you don't have to complete it at a specific state forest, but you can choose any of the state forests and visit them to participate, or other things like tree ID walks or things like that, where you can really do it anywhere as long as you have access to the outdoors. And because we're using things that we already have or resources that we've created over the last year and a half or so, or even before, the opportunities for the types of challenges that we can see are endless. So many different things we can do, so many different types of audiences that we can reach using, again, those worksheets or handouts or things that we've created to turn them into challenges and then get the public to participate and allow us to get some metrics on who is doing what where. Some examples of challenges you can come up with, or others. We kind of had this long drawn out discussion at the very beginning of our planning process, and then through the initial meetings that we had with other collaboratives around the state. One of them that came up was the idea of like a trash cleanup. And Sarah, do you want to take this one as well? And you have a really great backstory for the trash cleanup one.
Yeah, so this one came out of a discussion with Corpus Christi Solid Waste. They really wanted to participate, but really weren't sure, like, how would we do that? We're not a park. We're kind of this agency that we're not really sure how we fit into this, but we also really believe that it's important for kids to spend time outdoors in nature. And so what they came up with, one of their big messages is leave no trace. And so what they did is their challenge is to go to a park and pick up 5 pieces of trash and dispose of them correctly, and then take a picture of what you did. And that's their challenge. So it can be something as simple as that. That's something that for them, they really didn't have to create anything new. They already had anti-litter messaging that they had created as part of their organization. And this way they were also promoting with families, like, the parks are a resource for you, but also we need the whole community to help us keep care of our resource.
Yep. And then another one that came to mind for me is part of our Healthy Trees, Healthy Lives initiative, where we're trying to promote the idea and the research around that trees and health are very closely linked to physical and mental health specifically. Just having trees in your environment, in your urban environment, in your rural settings, can truly improve our health. So maybe something as simple as taking 5 minutes out of your day to go experience trees, be mindful in your space, and really be appreciative and thankful for what we do have as our great infrastructure around us. That can be done anywhere. And it doesn't take very long to complete, but that would be something that a participant could earn a badge for, their Healthy Trees, Healthy Lives badge. And then we didn't want to compete with the site with city nature challenges. Those are run by different organizations and have different requirements, but this is also a place where they can be displayed as well as an additional promotional opportunity so that more participants can find them and have access. And then you have things like you can do at home or at school, create a pollinator garden. So if you're an organization that has a vested interest in that, that's something that you could propose. And there is no limit on the number of challenges that a provider can put on the map or on the directories. And what this is, I'm hoping that this will eventually help us see, is that on the map, because there will be so many different data points that are categorized by the type of ecosystem or topic, you can literally see what's going on around you. And then this will develop new partnerships with people that we may not have known were there or were doing similar things to us. We can collaborate more, create challenges together. And there is a question in the survey, if you want to offer a challenge with another organization, you can mark that on there as well. So it's not just families and kids that we're trying to reach. That was the primary target audience of the previous Nature Challenge rendition, but now we're trying to reach everybody, the full gamut of the Texas population. That's families, classroom students, teachers, senior citizens. That's one audience that we tend to forget about. And I think it would be especially helpful right now because they've been so isolated throughout this public health crisis that we're in. Just having some simple opportunities for other audiences, non-traditional audiences, to participate, I think will be very, very important. And then you have groups like veterans or natural resource professionals or anybody else that you'd like to include There is something for everybody. We just have to make it. So coming up with a successful challenge, again, we'll draw on things that we either already have or that we already do. We don't want to reinvent the wheel here. This is just an opportunity for us to take what we have, rework it a little bit, and turn it into something that more people will have access to. It helps if you make challenges that are not staff dependent, because we are still under restrictions in a lot of parts of the state and beyond. So challenges that don't require an interpreter or a guide to lead the group or the family or the participant through is probably going to be more successful and have more people participating in it. And then designing it for a variety of audiences is going to help as well. You can filter by the audience type that you're looking for on the map and directory. However, more people will view the challenge if it's available to more. And then the digital badges that the participants can collect, they will fill out a challenge progress report where they mark all of the challenges they've completed. They'll upload their proof, whatever that completion metric was that was specified by the provider. And then it comes into a system that is auto-verified and the participants receive their badge via email. You can also do badge collections. So if you want to work with partners, or even if you don't want to offer a badge for every challenge idea that you have, but you'd like to offer a collection. So for example, in the Forest Service, completing 10 forest challenges will earn you the Forest Ambassador badge. So we're not creating a badge for every individual task, but completing 10 of those tasks can earn you different varieties of badges. And then if you wanted to work with partners to do regional badges or something like that, or things specifically for an event, because the challenges can have specific timelines that you just decide on, you can do that as well. So we're going to be creating one for Arbor Day when that comes up, something like that. And then this can also be linked in the future to incentives. You don't have to, but it's just as an option. Organizations can incentivize other people to participate or provide perks for people that are doing a nature challenge on site. And then tracking the challenge participation. This is really one of the biggest selling points for you guys as our provider network, is being able to see what kinds of challenges there are, how many there are, what the distribution is across the state, what kinds of people are participating, what zip codes are most active in the challenges, all of that data that we most likely wouldn't have been able to collect before. And Sarah actually has a really good example of a trail counter or a challenge that was proposed that was not in an obvious area and was really hard to keep track of beforehand.
Yeah, going back to kind of the early stages of this, we were having a discussion with a botanical garden that has a story walk in their parking lot. And so the story walk was in the parking lot, so you didn't need to have admission to the botanical garden in order to use the story walk. And so they would have families that would just kind of go and park and then walk through it and then leave. So then they thought, okay, if we want to measure this, how can we do it? So then the next thought became, well, trail counters, but it's in the middle of the parking lot. So how many people are walking past it that are actually doing the trail story walk versus how many are just walking past the trail counter in order to get to the main entrance of the botanical gardens? And so they're really thinking this is going to be a great way for them to get some metrics on specifically the story walk, because they're going to be making their nature challenge about the story walk in particular.
Yeah, so I really like that one because it shows us that, I mean, a lot of these types of activities are really hard to gather metrics on in general. Environmental education at all is very hard to measure. So having even some metrics is better than nothing. And I'm hoping that the more use that the site gets, the more challenges that we have and the more participants that are active will give us more usable numbers so that we can use to improve our programs across the state. Some of the other benefits that you guys will see is that it's 100% free. It's free for you, free for the public, no charge for anybody whatsoever. It's using the Texas Forest Service license to the ArcGIS program, and everything is run in-house by us. This is also a great free marketing and promotion opportunity for your organization or programs, events you have, that kind of thing. You'll have access to that data in the public dashboard. And then, as I was saying previously, it's a great collaboration tool to help us see what's going on around us, what kinds of partners we could link up with, what kinds of new activities, new ideas. I'm hoping that through this kind of collaborative processes, we'll become a closer group across the state and be able to provide more services to the public. And then if we are using things that we already have, it's really no extra work for you guys. It's as simple as taking what you already have, turning it into a challenge. And if you'd like to contact Sarah or I about ideas for what you would like to make a challenge, but you weren't quite sure how to work it, we're happy to do that as well. I love brainstorming. It's one of my favorite parts of this whole project. So the timeline, we were in development and testing all through last year. We are still developing the site right now, but the provider survey for you guys to propose your challenges is active and up right now. And then we're hoping to launch the site around spring break so that families will have an opportunity to participate into the spring and summer and beyond. And there is no deadline for you guys to get your challenges onto the site. That survey is up and active all year long. So whenever you come up with an idea, or I know like last week we had this winter storm shutdown, but things are starting to move slowly again. So if you have ideas for challenges, don't feel any pressure to put them in right away. Just as we go, know that this is a resource for you. And Nature Challenge, this whole project is part of a larger initiative to help engage the public and help them learn new skills, help them become comfortable in the outdoors, and really just make a better future for our state and for everybody in it. The Nature Challenge 2.0 project will be running over the next couple of years. This is the first edition that's coming out. We're calling it our Nature Challenge Lite. And then some additional functionality we're coming online this summer, including that social media toolkit. The dashboard will get an update, and then we'll begin the Nature Challenge 2.0 development later this fall. That future version will include partner profiles and public profiles so that you can keep track of your resources and information in the badge collections digitally. Everything will be online, and allows us to gather even more metrics on who is participating and where. So more information to follow. There is information currently on the Texas A&M Forest Service website, as well as on the Texas Children and Nature site. We are developing a provider orientation packet that will answer all of your questions for proposing challenges or what you would need to know as a provider of a challenge. And if you guys have any questions or would like to brainstorm additional ideas, Sarah and I are here to help anytime. Just let us know and we can hop on a call, or just feel free to email us as well. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. This is going to be a great tool once it's up and running.
Yeah, JC, we've already got our first question in the chat, and I think it's a great next question. And Betsy asked, how is the challenge going to be promoted? And so that is where TCIN is really going to be starting to lead. JC's been fantastic in doing this portion, and the promotion is going to be leaning on our shoulders a bit. And so we've got a few things already in motion. We've got a couple ads out that are going to be promoting it for spring break. In addition, we're going to be working on some press releases and really doing a media blitz on all three of our channels. And then also, we'll be creating that social media content for all of our partners as well. So anyone who's signed up to do a challenge, we'll provide you with all that social media content. So if you all want to put it on your social media channels, just to promote both your challenge and then also the Texas Nature Challenge in general. Going back to that, how this all started with the social media toolkit, we're going to be pushing it out as well to all of those ISDs all across the state that we were in contact with as we started the school social media kit at the beginning of the school year.
Any other questions? Feel free to unmute yourselves as well if you'd like to just speak up. Happy to answer.
Also happy to talk through any challenges you have in mind as well. Sometimes one person will have a question and that'll lead to someone else on the call thinking about, oh, I could do this. So there's no limit.
I have a question. I'm in West Virginia, so I'm an outsider, but I'm very intrigued with what you guys are doing. Do you include your state park systems at all?
We do. Go ahead, JC, sorry.
Yes, we do. They were our partner very early on in the process because they were heavily involved in the original Nature Challenge program that we had. So we're hoping that we could involve all of the state parks or even at the national park level as well, where you can have these either sites challenges or just challenges in general that the state park system has provided.
Well, I want to applaud you guys for what you're doing because I'm the creator of the Nature Child Reunion and I write children's nature books. And I wish every state would get involved like you guys are, and you could be a great role model for them.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That does make me very happy. And I'm sure Sarah's glad to hear that as well, because that's what she does day in and day out, is help connect us and make it a stronger network.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we do already have a few state parks that have already submitted their challenges. And so we're definitely moving to have as many state parks as we can have their nature challenge up.
Great.
We've got a few more questions in the chat here. What are our social media handles? I will put ours in the chat if Lauren and JC, if you want to put the Texan, put yours both in the chat. I can definitely do that. And then our next question is, we have a fishing pond, and this is from Noelle. We have a fishing pond. Would catching a fish and posting a photo be an appropriate challenge? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that would be a great challenge.
Yeah, so if you have the specific location of the challenge, so one of the options there is you can propose challenges either through a web browser, or you can use the Survey123 app that's available in the App Store for iPhone or Android. You don't need a login. On the provider orientation packet, we have instructions of how to use the Survey123 app to find this specific survey. And it allows you to drop a pin if you want to find that location and do the challenge proposal at that spot. You can drop that pin, it collects the exact location, and that way your participants will know exactly what pond, where it's at. And then the completion metric that you suggested is great. Take a picture, post the picture, or they can upload the photo as well. That will be their completion metric.
Yeah. Sasha asked, so this has already started, and is the idea to have it continue all year, or is there a particular window of time or for challenges or badges?
So the site itself is not active yet. We're still finishing up some of the backend development, and like we're trying to launch sometime around spring break. But the survey is up and active now. So you guys can put in any of your challenge ideas. And if you do run into issues while you're working through the survey, you can feel free to contact me. I can help you in any way. And you can select deadlines for your challenges if you want to have them. So if it's a very short window and you want to collect metrics only during that short window, or it's a challenge built around an event or something that's coming up, you can mark that, or it can be a year-round challenge. There doesn't have to be an end date.
Julie asked, can I speak more about the story walk? Yes. And so for the story walks, story walk itself is a trademarked thing. So you can look up story walk if you want to look through that. I can put the link in the chat in just a second. But basically what it is putting signs up in a nature area that have the pages of a children's story written on them. So there's a few places that have some really great ones up right now. I know the San Antonio Public Library System is working a lot on them, along with a few of the schools in Northeast ISD in San Antonio. The site I was talking about is the Botanical Research Institute in Fort Worth. And so they have one in their parking lot. There's a few others. If Julie, if you want to email me, I can get you a few more places maybe near you that would have some available. And then the site, your next question is, when will the site be open to register our challenge? You can go ahead and put your challenges in now. We will launch to the public shortly before spring break. So Betsy asked, how do we get started?
So it looks like Lauren posted the survey link in the chat. You can do that survey in a browser or through the Survey123 app. It's entirely up to you, whatever comfort level you have with the technology there. And throughout the survey, there's a variety of questions that you'll answer. If you run into issues, just email me. But you'll upload all of the documentation that's required for the challenge in the survey itself. So that's, if it has a worksheet, you'll upload that to be completed. If there's any photos of the site that you would like to include to make it easier for your participants to recognize it, you can do that as well. You'll also put in the address or any of the other supporting details that are in the survey. Oh, Sarah, you muted.
Yep, I muted myself. Our next question is from Linda, and it goes directly with that question, is where do we find the survey link? We will put it in the chat, Linda, but also I'll send out a follow-up email to everyone who registered today that will have the recording of this, so you can always go back and reference back to it if you have any questions, as well as a 2-pager with some information, and it will have that survey link in the email. And then we also have another question of, is there a place where participants can display their badges to encourage participation by recognition?
So in this current light version, there's not a place to keep track digitally for participants. They don't have like a login where they can keep track of those badges through the site, but the badges are sent to the email. So when they fill out those challenge progress reports, they enter the email that they'd like to receive their badges to, and it sends them those digital files, the image files. They can collect them, they can print them out, they can display them on a banner, whatever they feel like they would like to do. I'm thinking through a teacher lens. If I had a banner in my classroom, I would like to put them up as my students are progressing through each of the challenges.
Hi, I actually had a question. My name is Melissa. I'm a park ranger with the city of Austin. I'm kind of representing our whole team today. So if once we submit a challenge and say it's like approved going forward, do we own that? Like, do we have to continuously maintain it? Or is it like we give you this challenge and then like the badge system is automated through like completing that challenge? I'm just trying to figure out that logistics.
Yes. So you still own the challenge. It's yours. It's your materials. You can take it down anytime you want. It's pre-approved before they go active and live on the site. So once I get them in, I'll get an email that says I have a new challenge to review. Go in there, make sure there's no missing details, that there's no typos or anything that would misconstrue the challenge or confuse the participant if they're looking for how to do it exactly. If we do need more information, we'll reach out to the contact that you put into the survey. And then at any point in time, if you want to change the details on that survey, you can contact me and be able to do that. In future versions, you'll be able to actually get in on your own and edit those details yourself. But for the time being, over the next several months through the summer, those changes will be made through a Nature Challenge administrator. And then you can take it down at any time, whatever you'd like to do as an organization.
And then I think maybe to answer part of your second part of your question as well, you don't need to keep track of who's getting digital badges. That'll happen through this website. So you're not going to have to go in every day and be like, who do I need to email a badge to? That'll be done through the ArcGIS system.
Yes, that was one of the biggest headaches of the previous version of Nature Challenge, is that it was very hands-on. And that meant that regional coordinators had a lot of stress during a very short period of the year, and it was kind of hard to maintain because it required so much active oversight. This automation really simplifies that process. So the participants are getting in, they're self-reporting what they've done, they're uploading their completion metric, and then the badges are being sent automatically and digitally to them.
I have one more question too. Will this PowerPoint be available to us?
Yeah, I have no problem sharing it. We do have a digital copy that Sarah can include in that email that she sends out to you guys as well, if you'd like it.
Yep, I can definitely do that.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
If I might. Have you had much luck with corporate partners and corporate participation?
Yet, not to my knowledge, but that is not something that I would like to discount at all, because this is for everybody, and we want many kinds of providers to be able to participate as possible. Getting it out to the corporate audience, if they have ideas for things, would be great. Like, I know one of the partners we work with throughout different areas of the state is Toyota.
Right.
Forest and Toyota put on education events together, and we really do a lot of like good public education. So if an organization or a company wanted to do a challenge of their own, that's something that they are more than welcome to do as well.
Okay.
So we've got another question from Benny. He asks, can you create badges in the app? And I think this might be a Lauren question.
Yeah, so I think for the badges, we're going to use Canva, which is kind of like a digital app. It's on your browser, so you don't need to get it like an app on your phone. It's pretty simple to use. I think we're going to make a tutorial for it, Sarah, right? We're going to make a tutorial to figure out how to kind of make your badge. But I'm also going to make templates. So ranging from like forest habitats to fish to whatever, I'm going to make probably 30 to 50 templates that people can just choose from if you don't want to learn how to use Canva. And then format wise, I'm not sure what you guys want. Is it JPEG?
PNG, actually. PNG
PNG.
files so that they can have a transparent background. Those work best. That way, when we send it out to participants, they just get the badge and none of the background details.
So on Canva, you can download whatever you make as a PNG.
Makes it pretty simple. The Survey 123 app that you would download to do the survey is just an ArcGIS software. So the only thing you'll do in that Survey 123 app is actually enter the details into the survey. And in future versions of Nature Challenge, we're looking at building in some additional functionalities, but that is not its own app yet. Nature Challenge is not an app that you can download in the App Store yet. It's only on a browser.
So the only other question I have in the chat was exactly that one. What file format do the badges need to be in? And so there's no more questions in the chat, but if any of you have any questions you want to voice out, you're more than welcome to, or if you want, we've got about 25 minutes left. We can help you brainstorm some challenges as well.
Sarah, I have a question. The Canva format or template that you were discussing, how did you say how we would access that? I already have a Canva account, but
Those kinds of details will be provided in the provider orientation packet that will be on the Texas A&M Forest Service website under the Nature Challenge information page. And all of those links will be active on the Nature Challenge site as well under the information for providers tab.
okay. And then that's not active yet, so we'll get a notification when that happens.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
And there'll be a Nature Challenge page that'll be very similar to the Forest Service page as well on the Texas Children in Nature website as well.
Do you encourage your those that are making up their own challenges to include special needs children and special needs?
Yes. Yes, please do. We try to make this as accessible as we can. And there is a question on the survey for you to mark if it's a site challenge that you'd like to propose, if it is handicap accessible.
Right.
Keeping track of that as
Good.
well.
Sounds like you guys have covered all of your bases really well.
We've tried to. Thank you.
Betsy has asked in the chat, how many challenges do you recommend creating?
That is entirely up to you. There is no limit on the number of challenges a provider can put on the site. As the map becomes more populated, we might in the future have to put a limit, but for right now, feel free to make as many as you'd like.
Or just one. There's
one. Yep.
There's no minimum either. So.
Mhm.
Any other questions from anyone?
Good. I hope that means that we did a good job explaining.
You did.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for attending. As I said, you'll probably get an email probably Monday with the link to the recording, with a lot of the information that we shared today as well. Feel free to share the recording with anyone who maybe wasn't able to come today, or anyone you talk to who might be interested. And then it'll also have all of mine and JC's information as well. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Looking forward to working with everybody.